All right, so just as discussed, we're going to figure out what all wind and hail is versus wind and hail only. But these are three options available for the overlying wind deductible on the overlying policy. From the drop down, this is just all of the options that are available to quote. And this is really just taking all the information from the overlying policy to provide a proper quote, proper TIV, based on the information that's going to go into the quote a little bit later. So
how do you decide what to choose here?
Because the agent will tell us which ones they want. So that comes from either the application or verbiage in an email, or they supply the overlying policy. Because this is an underlying policy, so this underlying policy will follow form, or needs to follow form of the overlying policy. Otherwise, there's differences in coverages, which is not the purpose of the insurance. So we have to get that information from the agent.
Okay, so this in a monoline, this should be a standalone like field right there.
Yep.
So we use the shoe for us to stand over there.
Yep. With those options that you see there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So usually it's either per occurrence or one of these three is usually the top three that I pick, depending on what's going on. Let's do it per occurrence. Now, when you pick that, it then gives you how do you want to apply the overlying deductible? Is it a buy down from the percentage to a percentage to $1, or $1 to $1? Those are really your only three options. And depending on which one you tick, it'll just force formatting of what you put in here. So if I ticked on that one, obviously it forces a flat number versus a percentage. And then same thing here.
Can you explain a little bit about this and what it means in real world? I think it's an important one, probably the key one, right?
Yeah, this determines the actual amount of TIV that you are going to. Well, it helps calculate the actual TIV that you're going to have later on. So the overlying, deductible, for instance, on our stuff, Amelia's stuff, typically it's a 2%, 3%, 5%, 10% wind and hail deductible, right? So the purpose of this insurance is that the customer wants to buy that deductible down from, say, 5% to 3%. Okay. So you put 5 and you're buying down to a 3.
5 is what underlying policy would have. Like our policy would be 5.
The overlying policy has a 5.
Right.
Right.
3 is what they want.
So they're buying 2% of that wind deductible as a coverage limit, because their regular insurance policy does not provide them the deductible that they either need or wants or are required to have from some other stakeholder in that particular property. So they go, I have a 5% now. I need to buy down to a 3. So this difference is 2%. That's what goes into the calculation, which you'll see in just a moment once we get to the other part of the quote. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then in this system, it asks for the overlying policy details. I always say no. We add that post binds. But if I hit yes, it then just asks for all of this, the overlying insurer, and then the reference number. It's not a big deal, but we eventually need to have that information. And I don't know if the API asks for it now, but these are the two fields that pop up once you say yes.
Right. Okay.
All right. So we'll say no for now. So here's kind of like our locations page, or it used to be our locations page on our property side. You can add in a location manually. This system does have a nice little upload from Excel thing, but we'll just do one manually just for fun. And I'll use this as the address for the office for Amelia Underwriters, which is what I'm putting in here. So again, it populates this thing. You can add a name location, which is kind of what we do in our systems as well. It maps it, kind of like the map risk stuff. Now it asks these underwriting questions, which will help formulate the rate. And this is on a